Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, back with another Big Love review. Go ahead and do me a favor as we jump right into this because there was a lot going on in this episode. We begin the episode with a bunch of Home Plus billboards and a happy Nikki with two gift bags on the table. She's smiling like she's anticipating something. I personally thought maybe it was her birthday, but we find out later on that it's her anniversary, a date which Barb and Bill and Margene forgot. I personally do not feel like it's up to the wives to remember anyone's anniversary other than their own, but I'm monogamous, so maybe I'm wrong here. She, however, doesn't seem to be upset with Margie for forgetting about it. She's more upset with Bill and Barb. And I don't know if it's because she wasn't a part of the ceremony, so she doesn't think of it as Margene's date or what. But she was more upset with them. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but my feelings are, girl, take it up with your man. Like, you getting mad at the ladies. The ladies don't have anything to do with it. It's your man. But, I'm going to stay in my monogamous lane. So she walks in the house expecting to get acknowledgement for her anniversary, and she gets none. Instead, what she gets is a good morning from Barb and then told to do dinner for the night because Barb is starting her classes at the university. I don't like how Barb often tells the women what they need to do rather than her really asking them and seeing if they can do it. Because Barb, you already knew that you had classes, so why didn't you already have things marinated or whatever else so that you could have one of them maybe just put it in the oven, or you could slow cook something in the slow cooker? Like, there's other things to do other than piling up on the ladies to get them to do your work. So Nikki, who is feeling a way about having to cook on her anniversary, is still kind of irresponsible to me. She drops the ball often and never feels like when she drops the ball, it's a big deal. And an example of this would be that as Barb is at school, Barb gives her a phone call because Nikki was supposed to deposit $325 that she got as an advance from Barb for shampooing. I don't know what that had to do with anything. Anyways, she got $325 and she forgot to deposit it, which caused for Barb's tuition check to bounce. She's like, make sure you deposit it today. Are you capable of doing that? Talking to her kind of like she's a kid. And Nikki's like, yeah, I can do it. She says to her, I hope that you're still doing your Debtors Anonymous classes. When Barb said it, I was like, okay, that was kind of uncalled for. Like Nikki said, that was rude. But then what we quickly realize is Barb had every right to say it because Nikki spent the money. On what? I don't know. But Nikki spent the money because she gets off the phone and we later see her ask Marge for $60 to pay for Barb's bills. And then later she's like, I miscalculated. I need another $40. She is extremely irresponsible when it comes to finances. Does that sound familiar? Bird, I think that's you too. And she should not, in my opinion, be trusted to deal with them because she's shown time and time again that she isn't good when it comes to it. So the plan is for Nikki to make dinner until she gets a call from Wanda. Wanda needs Nikki to come rescue her now, and here is why. So, despite Joey and Bill thinking that they are possibly in the clear, they aren't. Because while Joey is walking home from the store with diapers and other things, a red Hummer pulls up playing the song I've got to run away. I've got to get away. And Albie pops out of said vehicle. This is the same Albie who was all dramatic, rolling in a wheelchair like something was wrong with him. He pops out of the Hummer with a knife in hand as he peels the apple, and he and some other guy force Joey in the vehicle, riding over top of the diapers as they leave. We see Rhonda, and apparently they're cutting a Keep Sweet album, right? So Rhonda is singing a song and they're recording as Roman walks in, and he apologizes for the interruption because he has something that he has to deal with. And we see Joey walk in behind Roman. Roman ends up having him call Bill, and Bill implicates not only himself, but everybody else for the attempted murder of Albie. Because as he's on the phone with his brother, who's like, yeah, you left a message for me at mom's. Like, bro, watch what you say up here on this phone. But Bill is stupid. He says, yes, we got to fix this. Mom is trying not to follow the script. I mean, I myself have put myself out here on the line for you, Joey. At this point, I'm Mr. Cover-Up, obstruction of justice, Mr. Accessory after the fact, talking about how much he has been a part of this by saying all those things. Bill is dumb. Because who in their right mind would say anything like that on the phone? You have caller ID. You told your mom that at some point in the episode. Your caller ID doesn't work for them. Did they block the number? Does the compound not come up on your caller ID? I don't get it, because he was making the call from the office. Anyways, so as this is going on, Joey is on one phone and Roman is on the other, like directing him to keep talking. And he's listening, enjoying the conversation as he's listening to Bill implicate himself and others. And there is a tape recorder with a cassette tape inside, and they are recording the conversation. We then see Nikki's mother as they get off the phone. She grabs the tape out of the recorder, puts it in the file cabinet, which is full of various tape recordings that they have gathered over I don't know how long, and the date is on each one of the tapes. This man has been taping everyone, and to me, that's concerning. So Joey is sitting there beyond hurt. His eyes are full of tears. He looks like he wants to break down, and he is beyond distraught. Because once again, Roman has the upper hand. Once again, Joey is stuck. So he tells him, don't worry, Joey. Everything is going to be okay. It's all going to work out, just fine. Just make sure that you don't let Bill know about this situation. And you don't tell him about, you and this upcoming vote that you're going to be doing with me. And I need you to make sure that you vote the way that I want you to vote for this UEB matter. Joey is being pulled in every direction. And I felt really, really bad for Joey, y'all. I really want to know his story, because it's clear that somewhere along the way, Joey got lost, and that Joey had issues. I guess drinking was one of his problems based on what happens later on. But it's affecting him. And Bill isn't making it easier for him by pulling him into this. So Joey leaves, and Albie is smirking because Albie feels like, yes, we finally got them now and they can be prosecuted. He's thinking that his father is going to take all the information to the police and they're going to file charges. But Roman is like, no, no, we're not giving this over to the police. We're not giving this investigation to them. As a matter of fact, we're going to close the investigation because I want to make sure that I can use this against Bill. At this point, Joey is our pawn. And Albie is upset. And he tells him, I built up this community from a nothing burger to a thriving community with thousands of righteous souls. I don't know if I would call, them righteous, but okay. And I am not about to invite some sideshow investigation into this compound. I said, okay. Albie's like, but they poisoned me. He said, I don't care if they get up on the table and dance the Tootsie Wootsie. Or did he say Tootsie Woody? I don't know. My Mac might have corrected it. He says, but it's over. Drop it. And I said, oh. So, Roman, you really don't care about Albie for anything other than your muscle, because here you have everything you need to put this family behind bars for conspiracy, and you don't want to turn them in because you need them for something else. Interesting, right? So, he doesn't want them in his business. So, Albie, despite his mother warning him and telling him not to go against the father, Albie decides that he's going to go ahead and go to the police station anyway. And he brings all of his findings. I mean, he even has the letter of the note that was left at the hospital where they dropped him off and said what he had to write. And he has, stuff from the doctors and how they say that this can later affect his kidneys and all this other stuff. And he says, they're dangerous. And while he's in there and he's talking, we keep seeing him looking off to the side, and one of the guys that are taking his statement looking at him like, what are you looking at? And the camera shows us what he's looking at, which is these men in uniform. And he's checking them out. It's little booties everywhere. He can't handle himself. I mean, the camera even zooms in on one of the police officers' butts, and I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing. So the person who put in the comment section that Albie may be attracted to men, you're right. It's clear that there's an attraction of some sort there based on the whole interaction in the hotel and then the way he's looking at these men in the police station. So he's like, Roman Grant is my father. And they're like, Roman Grant is your father and you want to do this with us? And he's like, yeah, but I need you guys to please, say that this was given to you guys by the hospital. I can't be implicated. Don't mention me. And you don't want to be mentioned because you weren't supposed to be there, because your father told you not to go there. So back to Joey. Joey goes home to Wanda and he is sitting on the couch with a big old 40. He is guzzling that 40. Hence the call from Wanda to Nikki. She tells Nikki that they're being followed and watched and she needs a ticket out of there ASAP. Nikki needs to rescue them because she feels like they're about to be punished for poisoning Albie. So she says, okay, it's not a special day here anyways. They don't need me around here anyways. I'll be there in a few hours. And she hangs up the phone. She then tells Marge, look, I'm going to need you to cook dinner because I got to go to the compound. Once again, here is a wife telling another wife what to do rather than asking her. These ladies take turns bossing each other around. So Margie, who's been dying to get on the compound because this was not her lifestyle and she wants to see where Nikki came from, is ready to go. Reluctantly, Nikki says, yeah, you know what? You can come, but you got to make sure that you change your clothes. So on the way there, Nikki is talking about how she's upset because Bill and Barb forgot her anniversary and there's just no excuse for it. Because Marge is talking about how, she's been going through a lot and there's stuff going on with the store and she just started class and all that other stuff. And Nikki says, I don't want to hear that. So Marge at some point calls them, lets them know they have their whole little discussion. He's blaming his wife for not remembering, blah, blah, blah. I'll get into that later. She's like a kid in the candy store as she arrives on the compound because she's so excited to finally see Juniper Creek for herself. So she sees a super pregnant beekeeper. Then she sees a lady and her children that disappear into the hole in the ground. And she can't believe what she's seeing because this is her first time seeing it for herself. And it's giving her a little insight into Nikki. Nikki smiles and reminds Marge to please not make fun of where she comes from because she hasn't made fun of Marge and where she comes from. You may not make fun of her, Nikki, but you do talk down on her. And you do say negative things about the things that she does and says. Right? So let's not act like she is wild or wrong for being surprised by the things that she's seeing. It's clear to me that Nikki loves and misses this world and she's struggling to fit in where they live. I think that if it were up to Nikki, Nikki would much rather prefer to be there. So they arrive at Wanda and Joey's and Joey is drunk. I mean, drunk as a skunk, as the saying says. He is crawling, like dragging himself on the floor, asking for help. Nikki's immediate response is, Wanda, what have you done? Because she knows about the poisoning too. She tries at first to say it's food poisoning, but Margene can see and smell that it's alcohol. So Nikki's plan is to take them to the bus station because they got to get them out of there. But Margie is like, they can't make it in that world. They won't last. Look at them. Then the police come. Nikki is about to say, don't worry about it, it's just our police. But she realizes it's the state police and she runs. Once again, that goes back to the fear piece that Nikki has when it comes to the law and the things that she's been taught. Bill calls and is upset because Margene says we're on the compound. Nikki is told to keep Wanda under control. Meanwhile, over at Roman's, the wives are singing a song. They're harmonizing very well, might I say. And they're, making sure they got another selection for their Keep Sweep album. Roman is sitting there watching them as a man comes running in. We're under siege. We're under attack. And the mom is like, okay. She's getting things out the way. She says, get the plane on the runway. I said, oh, okay. So we're about to fly away. Who's going to fly away in that plane? Like, they got this thing planned out, you guys. These people are ready in case something happens to their prophet. So Albie is like, Papa, is it the end of days? And he smirks. Makes me wonder if Albie really believes this. Or if he's smirking because he knows that the law is there because of him. So Bill calls Lois and asks if she called the police and told them what was going on. She says, of course not. We see Wanda telling the story to the police. And she says, I've been interviewed. She's holding her son. I've been interviewed 3 times by the Juniper police, and they claim to have witnesses. They said that I have done it, but I don't know why. I don't know why. It's a conspiracy of some sort. I'm telling y'all. Wanda and Lois are my faves. I love them. So at some point, Lois comes over to the house because the law is there. And we see the cars driving away, the police cars. And she says, that girl fingered me. And I was like, what? I'm guessing she stuck up her middle finger at her because of Lois' reaction, or maybe what Lois told the cops. I don't know, but it was the way she said it. So Lois is like, what has happened to our family? I can't believe Joey is drunk. Margie is sitting there, and there's photos of Bill and Barb on their wedding day, and then a picture of Bill, Nikki, and Barb on her wedding day. There's no picture, though, that I noticed, if I'm wrong, y'all correct me, of Marge and Bill, which makes me wonder what their wedding situation looked like. It's her first time visiting the compound, so she's excited, and she's smiling as she's looking at the wedding pictures, and she says she went after him like a spider. That's what Lois said. The picture with the 3 of them shows, that they look happy, but I think that Barb's smile isn't real. Once again, to me, showing that she, over time, has learned how to deal with this and to play her position. Lois is looking at Margene like she's crazy because, Margene is sitting there like smiling and looking at the picture like, oh, look at them. They look so happy, or whatever it is that she's thinking. And Lois says, she goes, we're celebrating, their anniversary tonight. And she says, what are you celebrating for? It has nothing to do with you. I don't understand how you all can like each other so much. Me and my sister wives always held themselves apart. And you see her pausing like she's legitimately wondering because she can't understand their dynamic. She can't understand how they actually care about one another. Because despite how they go at it, I will say that these women do seem to love one another. And this is when Lois reveals that she tried to have that type of relationship with her sister wives. But she thinks that they were jealous of her because they never accepted her. And you see her pausing and she's like, I had so much to give. And she gets quiet, and for a moment, you can see sadness in her as she thinks back, because it sounds to me like Lois has been through a lot of stuff with them ladies. And we see how they treat her and how they snicker and do things like that. And with her bringing the prophet's daughter, I'm sure that she got treated unfairly at times, or they iced her out because maybe they felt like she thought she was too good, or whatever the situation is. But it very much so seems like Lois has lived a rough life. So then she quickly fixes herself and puts back on that brave face, because for a second that mask fell. Let's go to Wendy and Barb. Wendy, because she knows all of their addresses, shows up at Barb's house, and she tells her that she needs for her to talk to Mr. Henriksen, because although the last 3 weeks have been difficult for Barb, they've been a nightmare for the both of them, not just Barb. That she is not responsible for what happened at the governor's mansion. She is not the one who did it. She doesn't know why she was there, but something made her go. I think because she wanted to see Barb and him in person for herself, knowing what she now knew. I think that was her reason. She says, your husband has had me followed because he doesn't believe me. And as a result of him following me, I got into a car accident. And Barb's like, Bill wouldn't do that. She says somebody's doing it. Maybe it's Peg or Dawn, because both of them are out to get me. And they're not very nice people. They're mean people. She says, I haven't even left my house because whenever I do, I am followed by a Hummer. So I need you to please talk to Mr. Henriksen and let him know I didn't do it. I don't approve of plural marriage. I don't approve of what you guys are doing, but I wouldn't do something like that. And Barb sees that she's sincere, and because of the Black Hummer statement, and she says, I'll talk to him. Now, at first, I thought the Hummer situation had something to do with Roman, but later on, I think that it's safe to say that it was Nikki. Y'all tell me what you guys think. So we later see Rhonda call Barb, tell her that she loves her, that she misses her, and that she's sorry about what happened to her at the governor's mansion. And she hopes that things get better soon. And Barb looks like, Barb, I hope you've put 2 and 2 together that it was Roman, but I don't know if she has. I'm jumping around, y'all, but keep following me. So let's get to the teens. Both of the teens are living in 2 worlds. They have the life of polygamy and then what they do outside of the household. Ben is trying to slowly ease his girlfriend into this polygamous world where he gets to, show his parents and his family. We see him talk to his dad while he's on his way to his first day of work at the Henriksen job. And he says, Dad, I know that Mom wants to meet my girlfriend, but I don't want to just introduce her to you and Mom. I want to introduce her to all the moms and my entire family. Bill was a little hesitant, but he's like, she's already figured it out. She knows. And he gives them the okay, yeah. But she didn't know, because we later see him telling her that he's a polygamist and he has 3 moms and it's normal. And she's like, no, it's not. It isn't normal. But she's willing to go meet his mom. He brings her to the house. She meets the mom. We found out that she graduated already from high school and she's taking a year off before she goes into college. Barbara's looking like, oh. But it gets fixed because she can cook. So I'm going to assume that she helped Barb cook. We then have Sarah, who is slowly getting to know Scott. The man that she met at the ex-Mormon support group. We find out that he thought she was a college student and he is 10 years older than her. She tells him she's 18. It's only 10 years. That's not that big of a deal. I can't remember if she's 18. Y'all correct me down below and let me know, because I was like, I don't remember how old she is. I don't know why I thought she was 17, but okay, she's 18. He tells her that, you should have been honest regardless of your age, that we still could have been friends. It's important to be honest with people that you start relationships with. And I said, him using start relationships with is an interesting choice of words. On to Bill. So this is out of sequence, y'all, but I tried to lump this up the best way I could for my notes' sake. So Lois calls Bill. Does anybody know why Lois was in the laundromat? Because I found it odd that she tried to lie and say that she was at the gas station when she was at the laundromat. Anyways, so she goes, I've been thinking. I've had time to think clearly. You people can say whatever you want, but if anyone comes to investigate me, I'm just going to tell the truth. I've got too much to live for to get caught up in some rinky-dink cover-up. Bill is like, and she's like, no, I'm gonna do what I want to do. And he says, Ma, you got to stick to the story no matter what. But Lois isn't playing, to the point where she ends up hanging up the phone on him when he questions her whereabouts. So Bill is excited, y'all, about these 8 billboard signs that I talked about earlier that have his face on it. I don't understand why it's just his face. I mean, how vain are we? Does all the signs have to have your face on it? When you say Home Plus is supposed to be us, I think you would show some of us, like the other people in the store, maybe some shoppers, something, but instead it's his face on every single sign. And you could tell he wasn't sure about the decision because he questioned multiple times if it was a good move, and it wasn't. My personal opinion, y'all tell me yours. So while on their way to the job for the first day of work to the store for Ben, on the sign, there's a Home Plus, he's smiling, plus us. Home Plus is us, and there's a us plus us plus us. I thought it was funny. Not that they'd effaced the sign, but about how upset he got about it. You were a known son of a polygamous mom and dad. There's no reason for you to get this upset when there's images of you online of you talking badly about polygamy. So even if it was somebody that you knew, the degree that this took up time in his mind and how much they talked about this on the episode was laughable to me. But it also showed how much his decision to do this campaign and to be more out there affects the others, because Peg, who's married to Don, is quick to say, like, if something comes of this and I feel like we're going to go down, I'm getting out of here before that happens. She says, Wendy isn't at work. She's never late. She never misses a day. And I think there's something to be said about that. The same day that she's not here is the same day that this happened. Don is the only one with enough sense to be like, I don't think it's her. But Bill agrees, I guess, with Peg and thinks that it's her too. I don't like that Wendy keeps getting the blame for everything. And I can't believe I'm saying that, because y'all know that Wendy was getting on my ever-loving nerves in the beginning. But my question is, did any of you take the time to pick up the phone and call this woman and find out what's going on? It's not like you. I know it's happened to me before, where I had an emergency situation that happened at work and I was running late. And the last thing that I was worried about was calling my job and telling them that I was running late. So my manager called me and was like, Tisha, I just want to make sure everything's okay because this is not like you. And I was like, I had an emergency. I'll be there in about 2 hours. She's like, if you need more time, just, go ahead and take it. Thank you for being concerned about me. Click. If you're supposed to be Home Plus us, care about her. Even though you may think she may have done something, the girl got in a serious car accident and y'all don't even know because y'all too busy being upset about something that she didn't even do. So the idea of being outed for being a polygamist at this point is just so scary to Bill. But as I said, it's scary to Don and his wife as well. So Bill is determined to get that sign fixed and quickly, because in his eyes, this was the worst sign for them to do it to, because it's the one that gets the most heavy traffic. So we see him reaching out to this person and that person to try to make sure that they can get down to the sign. Now, they say they're going to fix them, but they're not moving fast enough for Bill. So he tells Don to make sure that he watches the sign, because they got a meeting to go to and blah, blah, blah. We see him and Bill eventually meet with the person who's a part of the company. He's like, look, we're going to fix your sign, but we got other signs that got stuff on it too. We got stuff, stuff with like balls drawn on them and other things like that. So your sign with the us plus us plus us as a joke really isn't that high on the list. He then gives some speech about how you need to be happy that you even have the billboards, because Lady Bird Johnson hated billboards. I guess this is a real person, since they felt the need to put that nugget in there, and how important it is for him to realize that. And Bill starts going off about how you're not treating us right. And he's cursing and telling him, you gonna fix that sign. And you're not gonna act like this, our account isn't important just because we're a smaller company, that all accounts are important, not just the expensive ones. I agree. But you going off and fussing at this man when he really doesn't have to have your money isn't going to really pay off for you and make him want to run and get the thing fixed. Later, we see that they don't even make it to the sign because, I don't know, Bill already is like, we got to fix this. So Don and Bill pay these two guys $65 a piece to white out the part of the sign that says us on the billboard. Don is over all of it. He tells him that he wants to focus on the business, that he'll go to the distance with him, but he can't let this thing break him down because he got like 18 mouths to feed. Do y'all really feel like the sign would mess with his business? Put it down below. So it's time to celebrate the anniversary. Despite Bill blaming Barb for forgetting his anniversary, they pull it off. Barb tells Bill she prepared Nikki's favorite, so she'll make, it at home. Let's talk about that real quick. So Sarah was me when it came to Barb leaving school, going to the house to make dinner for an anniversary that wasn't hers, that Bill should have been focused on it. I like that Sarah said it. She said, I thought you had plans. I thought you were going to make yourself actually have a life. I thought you were going to actually do something for yourself. She's looking at her mom like, Mom, why are you doing this? She's like, it's not your responsibility, Mom. So at some point when Bill, as I said earlier, is saying, why didn't you remind me? I personally, based on him trying to blame it on me, wouldn't have been reminding him of anything or doing anything, because I'm watching this and I'm realizing, Tisha, I said, Self said, I said, I said, Tisha, you would never be able to be in a polygamous marriage, like ever. They would kick me out of the family because they would probably tell me that I was sabotaging the situations because I wasn't reminding my husband of what he should be doing for his other wife, because guess what? In my opinion, that's not my job. So Barb feels like it's her anniversary too. And she tells Sarah that, and she tells Heather that. And Heather's just questioning it all. And Barb tries to convince her that, having multiple wives is easier because, you have multiple hands to help out where it's needed, and you get to do the things you want to do. If you say so, Barb. Barb is very much so giving, I'm like Christine in this situation. And even though this is not something that I really want, and I don't really feel like this is my testimony, I'm going to do my part and be the good little wife and say what I'm supposed to say to make people feel like I actually believe this. So Barb is given a watch by Bill for their anniversary, for the sacrifices that she makes every day. Barb chooses to celebrate Nikki instead of going to her statistics class, her first one at the university. We see Nikki and Marge return home. Nikki isn't as upset because, unlike Joey and Wanda, she sees that they have each other to lean on. They eat dinner and they laugh. And if you were looking at like through their window, you would think like, oh, this is so beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. There are times where I watch this family and I'm like, this is a beautiful dynamic. But then there are times where I realize that there are women in this situation who aren't happy and who are sticking by this because of what they deem is the principle. We'll get into it. At this point, Nikki is just thankful that she has them there to help her. So she tells Bill, like, I saw the sign as we're going out of town. And he's like, keep it a secret. I really don't want the others to know, okay? I don't want any of you all to worry, but don't tell them. As he tells her that, I said, this man keeps secrets when it comes to their wives. There's so many things that they don't know that they should be privy to. So we see dinner's over. Barb is outside watching Nikki, and she approaches Nikki and says, I'm sorry that I forgot your anniversary, but I do love you. We see Nikki tell Barb that, you know, Barb, I didn't marry for love. I married for the principle. And Barb is like, okay, that's not the reason why I did it. In other words, it's the opposite. I married because of love. She's like, Nikki, I've tried, but I'm not even sure if I have had a testimony for the principle. But I do know that I love you, and I do know that I love our family more and more each day. And Nikki says, I don't know that if a marriage that is based on love is going to be able to go the distance. I said, oh my. Because I cannot remember if it was Cody or if it was the bald eagle. Y'all tell me down below. Was it Cody or was it Cody or the bald eagle? Lord, the bald eagle or Mary or Cody. I can't remember which one of them had said something along the lines of, had it not been for polygamy, they would have been done a long time ago. They probably wouldn't have been married. The principle in this case seems to keep them bound, because for me, I would think that love would sustain me. I would think that love would keep me with somebody. I should know, because my man gets on my nerves, you know, at least once a week. At least once a week. I'm telling y'all. And love sustains. So I'm sitting here and I'm listening to this and I'm like, the principle is keeping you? That's something to really, really marinate on. So she feels like without the principle, they're just random couples being paired together. And I said, but that's what y'all are, because these people are just randomly being put together by Roman, who they deem as the prophet, who in my eyes is no type of prophet, which made me think about Christine, because at some point Christine was really, really onto this thing, really, really a spokesperson for it, really, really deep into it. And at some point she realized it wasn't for her. But in order to keep the man and in order to follow what she was taught for so long would make her be able to go to the celestial kingdom, she stuck by it. It's just sad, y'all. It's sad because there are still people who just don't know any better, right? So she tells her happy anniversary. She then says, you know, Wendy was followed by a Hummer. And Nikki says, I know. And she says, Nikki, you do a lot for this family, but you can't do that. I know you do anything for this family. I said, oh, Nikki's the one who put the Hummer on Wendy. I didn't think of Nikki until that point. Y'all, did y'all know it was Nikki who got somebody to follow Wendy? Let me know down below. So we see Bill give Nikki a brand new drill for their anniversary, and she's really excited because Nikki is the one who does the home repairs, not Bill. She loves it. And then we go back to back to Wanda's house. The police are there, and they're there to question Wanda again. And Joey says she's not in. They like, we have a search warrant. He says, you know, you don't need to question my wife. I'm the one you want. I'm the one who poisoned Albert Grant. And that is how it ends. Y'all, it's getting good. You guys, let me know what you thought of this episode. As I've said in previous ones, if there's something that I forgot that you want to talk about, put it down below, because there was a lot going on in the episode. And even though I left some stuff out, we're still 40 minutes in. Like the video, it helps the channel. Happy New Year. And thank you guys so much for the 2,000 plus subscriptions. Woo, woo! I love y'all, and I mean it. Until next time.